Hey, y'all. It's Kia, and I want to welcome you to Kia's Corner. We're having a Kia's Corner event tonight. What's Kia's Corner, you ask? Well, if you've been following me or not, I have a book club called Kia's Corner. So, what's a Kia's Corner event? Well, that's where myself, Kia, I will be talking all things books. And tonight, I have something special for you. It's an event, the first of what I hope to be many author spotlight. And tonight I have something yummy, juicy for you tonight. I am talking to the one and only Monica Walters. If you are a book lover and a bookworm like I am, and reading is your thing, you have most certainly heard of Monica. She is the author of over 100 books, and something that a lot of people are familiar with her or for her. I don't know if I said that right, but I know a lot of you who love her. You know her for the Henderson Family book series. We're going to be talking about it tonight. So I'm getting ready to pull her on in here. So I hope you're ready for this. It's going to be a great conversation. We're talking all things books. And let me just say this. We're going to focus on book number 4 out of that 23 book Henderson Family series, Into Deep. Now, why are we focusing on book 4? Because it's my show. It's my event, and it's one of my favorite books. So let's get Monica on in here. All right. Let me see. Get Monica in here. Hi, Monica.
Hi, how are
Oh,
you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
That's great. I am so happy to have you with me
I'm
tonight. Thank you.
happy
Thank
to
you so
be
much.
here.
Yes. Thank you. I'm so happy to meet you for the first time
Yes,
online.
yes. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I am such a fan, just like so many people.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like, huh, this just made my week. I got the one and only Monica Walters. You can't
Oh,
tell me
Lord.
nothing today.
Oh, Lord.
Yes,
Oh,
this is
goodness.
going to be great. Well, what I want to do is, first of all, I just want to congratulate you on your fabulous career. Over 100 books. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I can't think of anybody who could write that many books. I just want to congratulate you for that.
Thank
Just, you are a
you.
queen, a
Thank you.
queen. Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yes. So, as I said in my intro, this is a Kids Corner event. I have a book club, and what I really want to do with events like this called Author Spotlight is to shine a light on authors that everybody needs to hear about. We want to ignite that passion for reading. We want to get people buying books. We want to get people supporting those authors. This isn't a fancy book conference, but this is some real talk. This is where you can get to know the authors, let them speak for themselves. And I'm gonna try to get some, some inside scoop stuff while I'm on here. I'm gonna try to get a little out of you. Uh,
Yes.
we gonna get into all the things.
Okay.
Um, Now, of course, people love you for that Henderson Family book series.
Love.
That's what most people love, including myself. Um,
I appreciate
23 books in, can't even believe it. But whoo,
I can't
that
either.
family, man, that family is something
They're a mess.
else. They're a
They're a mess.
mess.
Mm-hmm.
They're a good mess. Now I
A good
like it. I'm
mess.
entertained.
Sometimes,
I'm
look,
entertained.
sometimes a bad mess, but they're a mess.
Capital M, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I specifically wanted to focus on book number 4, which is Into Deep. And the reason why, and this is heavy, I know, the reason why, and like I was on, I was a viewer in a live that you had done with Sapphire Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I said was, hey, I've read all the books, but book 4 really hit me different, and it became my favorite. It was like a standout book to me. And the reason why, and I said that in my intro, I was like, look, I know she got 23 books. I could have picked the first one. I could have picked the last one, but it's my show. It's my event. And I'm picking my favorite book. So
yeah, absolutely.
book four, I'm jumping right in with that because In Too Deep, to me, was one of those books where you really showed so much range as a writer, where it wasn't just the typical country hood love story that we love. It wasn't just that. It had definitely had elements of that for sure, because some people made appearances up and through there. Tiffany was going wild. We had some things in there.
Yeah.
But you really touched on some issues that I think everybody can relate to. Even if this wasn't your favorite genre of book, this was a book that you could really get into. It would make you fall in love with this family. It will get you inside of the world of the Hendersons and really have a heart for the characters. So that's why I picked it. I really believe that, I'll say most people that I read online, they'll say a book series like this, they'll say, oh, this is for women. Women like to read these books. But when I read this, I said, you know what? I could see men getting into this because you gave a voice to men in this book in a way that I don't think I've seen before. Not in this way. So I want to start by asking you off the top, when it came to doing this particular book, how is it that you were able to pivot and have it go so deep and so heavy with this particular book, with Kenny of all people, quiet, soft Kenny? And spoiler alert, before you answer, spoiler alert for anybody who's watching this, because we're going to be saying a lot. I hope you read it, but spoiler alert all the way through.
Exactly.
So, yeah, how did you get to that place?
Well, my earlier books were really heavy.
Yes.
So yeah, they were really heavy. So it wasn't as difficult to go there because, again, my earlier books were extremely heavy with mental health issues and all that kind of stuff. And drug usage, all that kind of stuff. So it was only one part of this book that really gut checked me because I don't plan my books, I free write. So when y'all are surprised, when I was writing, I was surprised too.
Okay. All right.
So nothing about the book was planned. Actually, the book itself wasn't even planned. I had no desire to really write Kenny's story.
Okay.
But it was readers that they didn't push me to write a story, but the way they were going back and forth, like, I'm Team Kenny. No, I'm Team Keisha.
Yeah.
They hated Kenny because of, what they read in book 2 and 3.
Yep.
So they hated Kenny. And I was like, things are not always what they seem.
Right.
And they were like, and I was like, you're hearing all this, but you're not hearing it from Kenny.
Right.
So you don't really know exactly what happened. And so, I mean, the petty in me, the petty person I could be at times, and the I told you so kind of person forced me to write that book.
Oh, I like that.
So I was like, I'm going to show y'all better than I can tell you. And,
and you did.
That's why Kenny got a book. Yeah, because I had no desire to write it.
I get that. Because I'm one of those readers where I read the earlier books, and so I'm like, man, Kenny, you a cheater, you out here, you in the streets, you community, don't nobody want to hear nothing you got to say, because that's how we treat people who do that. That's what we do. But that's why this book was so important to me, and why I wanted to give it a spotlight and a shout out, if you will, is because things are not always as they seem in real life. And your books deal with real life. And just the way it's written, I'm not one for all the labels of calling it country, calling it hood, calling it whatever. These are real people. They're dealing with real life. And when you're in a marriage, long-term relationship, what have you, and you have children, and you're balancing all the things, and there's a breakdown and something goes wrong, you can't just look at one person and say that person's the bad guy.
Right.
That's the
always
one
something
person.
else
It's always more than that. There's layers.
that you
There's
don't know about.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that we don't know. And just like many of us, you can see a couple somewhere and you're making your judgments. You calling people a dog, calling somebody a hoe. You don't know what that couple had to go through. And so what your book did was you peel back the layers and you let both of these people speak for themselves, especially Kenny. Because like you said, you can write Kenny off and say, whatever, anybody trying to hear nothing he got to say. But, and this is why I say for men, so anybody who's watching and you got some men in your life, I'm telling you, this book will really help them. Because the thing that I love that you did with Kenny was he was aware of what he had done. It's not like he tried to hide it. It's not like he tried to say, I didn't do it. He knows what he did. But he also knows where it came from. He could point to, he could say, at this point in our marriage, that's when it went wrong for me. That's when I got weak. That's when I just couldn't keep it together. And then on the flip side, spoiler alert again, but on the flip side, with Keisha doing what she was doing, and he found out about it, he was really like, I'm for the streets because you ain't who you supposed to be either, So
what I loved about him was that he didn't broadcast that. He took full blame for everything and did not tell anybody what she was doing.
Right. That was the surprising part. Yeah.
He took full
that
blame
surprised
for everything.
I remember reading it and my jaw dropped, because that point where you're writing and he's like, oh, I knew about this, I just didn't tell anybody. And I'm like, what? Because when you petty, you gonna use everything you got to take that other person down.
And but the petty in me wanted him to do it so bad. But he's not a petty person. No. And he truly loved her. Yeah. And he felt like he started it, so to speak. Right. I mean, even though, he had excuses for or reasons why things went left. Yes. He still accepted full responsibility for what he did, because he was the first one to step outside of the marriage. Correct. And so he felt like he pushed her in the direction that she went.
Yeah. So. Yeah, he owned it. I will say that. He owned it, and like you said, he didn't take the opportunity he could have taken to trash her, because his family is a mess, and they would have hung her out to dry. I mean, ran her over.
You saw what Tiffany done to her when she did find out.
Tiffany got her.
And she
got her. Tiffany don't care. Anybody who reads this series, I wasn't surprised by how Tiffany handled her. I wasn't. She had it come. She knew she had it coming, though.
She knew. She knew
it was coming. She knew it was coming. Yeah, but I really love that, because one thing that you covered that touched me as well is, as we're speaking about the beginning of where things were going wrong, when you talked about that postpartum depression that Keisha was going through. And there are so many couples that have the same issue, where you have a baby and that woman she's not herself. Right. She can't come back to herself. And there's a lot of shame, especially in the Black community. There's a lot of reluctance to speak on depression. Yeah. There's a reluctance for us to even claim it. A lot of us don't even want to claim it. Right. And so she's doing what a lot of us have done, is we just hide it. We keep it inside. And we do our best, and then not getting the help that you need, not communicating with your partner or other family members. That's something that a lot of people can relate to.
That's most relationships' downfall, not communicating. Yes. And even though she knew she had a husband that would have understood, right, she still chose to keep it to herself. Yes. And I can imagine that it was hard to even talk about. So, even though a lot of us, we feel like the other one wouldn't understand. Right. That, because they expect things to go back to normal after you have
Mhm.
a baby.
Right.
So she knew he would understand and still was, didn't want to say.
Still. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a real problem and it's a real issue, that
Yes.
we as women have.
Hmm.
And I feel like I wish more men would be able to understand as he would have
Yeah.
had he known.
Right. And what I loved about his response or his reaction to it was, he was just like, I could have helped you.
Yeah.
I'm your life partner.
Yeah.
I'm with you. You can tell me anything. I love you. We can
Right.
work through this. And truth be told, that could be a lot of our problems where
Right.
we didn't even know that kind of love and support was
Yeah.
there because
Yeah.
we just didn't open up,
Right.
right? And so I like that you relayed that, and it seemed like we were watching it unfold in real time
Yeah.
in reading the book. It's like I feel like I'm in somebody's house. That's how raw it was,
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really touched me. I'm a person who has experienced postpartum myself,
Mm-hmm.
so I understand that feeling of, oh, I'm not myself, but I don't always want to talk about it. I just want to kind of push through.
Yeah.
But again, it's not an excuse for the bad behavior, but we
Right.
can understand how they got there.
Right.
And that was important.
Right.
Understanding how they got there.
Right. Right.
I wanted to jump a little bit to when we bring in the baby mama drama, we bring in we bring in this trash of a mama. We got
Yeah.
this new baby. And honestly, that was one of those things where I'm like, this is so familiar. Like, I know people who deal with this in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's exactly like that. When you talking about the pickups, the drop-offs, and getting the phone calls, and you're not doing right with the baby, and all these kinds of things. There are so many people who know that and who live that life.
Yeah.
So it's just relatable. I feel like people can really see themselves when they're reading it. I mean, take away, a lot of people, I read reviews too. So when I'm reading reviews that people leave of the books and they're talking about the characters and how they speak or where they're from, and it's like, take all that stuff away. We're talking about people. This is just people being people. And life will life. And everybody can relate to this story. Everybody.
Yeah.
So when you were writing the baby mama drama stuff, it's like, is that one of those things where it's like you just letting your imagination kind of like run wild with it just to see where it went? Okay.
Yes, because I have no experience in that.
Right. I was like, how's she writing this?
I have a bonus son, but we didn't have that kind of drama. No.
Thank God.
So, but yeah, it was just my imagination just going with it. And I mean, you see it. I've seen the drama, whether it's been on TV or in real life, but so I just kind of went from there and just let it go wherever it was going to go. Whatever fell from the sky into my head, that's what went on that paper. Or, excuse me, on the computer.
On the computer, right.
But yeah, I wanted to hop in the story and strangle her.
Oh my gosh. It's like, and I've talked to a handful of authors, and it's like you all say the same things. It's like you're feeling the same things we're feeling, and you're writing it, but you're still like, I didn't know that was gonna happen. I didn't know. You just letting it go.
Yeah.
So because of that, did you ever find yourself getting like emotional at certain parts as you're writing it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I cry a lot. Yeah, like when I knew what was coming, because it was like it came to me not that he would be gone, but that something would happen.
Okay.
I was already crying just because I knew something was going to happen.
Okay.
And then once I described what happened, I was like, oh, wait, he not gonna make it. Like, I cried from like that point until probably the end of the book.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm real sensitive, so it don't take much to make me cry.
Okay.
So, I'm the one that cried watching movies. So, it don't take much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
I was
don't take much.
crying.
So I was crying. Yeah.
Okay. So I feel better because you were crying like I was crying. So that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I literally had to get up after that hospital scene. I
Yeah.
had to get up, go take a break, go blow my nose, all that kind of because
Yeah.
I was crying that
Yeah.
hard.
Hard cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
took a break. I'm telling you, I had to put it down. I was like, oh God, she got me. She got me.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
I got my look.
sobbing.
I got myself too.
Yes. I'm glad you know how the readers feel. You know how we feel.
Yeah, I know how y'all feel because I got gut check too.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that
it wasn't
was so
planned.
hard.
Yeah,
That was so hard. I have
that
to
was the
say,
only book where I didn't even plan the ending.
oh
Those books I
wow.
planned the ending, but I didn't know how they were going to work out.
Oh,
So
so you really just wrote, just kept writing until it came out.
yeah,
Okay. Wow. That's amazing. Because this story, I'm telling you, I remember, I want to say what, I don't want to say too much because I'm really trying to respect people who may not have read this. So I'm really trying to be cautious with my words. But
yeah,
there was a part in the book where things took a turn. I'm not going to say what it was, but I was very surprised at where you went with it. Because you know how you read, I know I'm not giving much away, but I'll say this. You know how you can feel the happily ever after coming. It's like, oh, they're getting
hmm
things back together. Oh, I see how they're smiling. Oh, they're being
hmm
nice to each other. Oh, she's accepting of the baby and all this other kind of
hmm
stuff. You thinking, oh, this gonna be
oh
good.
yeah, and then something
And
else come in.
and then you go bam. And it's like, what? Wait, what? Like, you did a
WJ,
Shonda Rhimes on us. Like, what?
the WJ situation probably.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
I was not expecting that.
yeah,
Okay. I was
that was
like,
tough.
what in
He
the world?
That was tough, and his even I wasn't planning to write his book either, but by the time I got to
Oh,
his book,
oh,
it was just as
oh,
bad. So it was just
oh
like,
gosh. That
yeah,
WJ, oh, that's a whole other lie. But
yeah, it's a lot, it's a
it's
lot,
a lot.
but that's where his story was kind of starting. Even though it did kind of start
Yes.
in Storm's book in book one, where you
Mm-hmm.
like, what's up with
There's something
him,
with yeah,
you know.
yeah,
It's something, and when you got to book four and found out what he did,
yeah.
with Keisha, it's just like, wait
Mm-hmm.
a minute, who are
Yeah.
you?
Who are you?
Like, are you
That's
a
exactly what
brother
I
or
was saying.
not?
I was like, who is this person? Like, who are you, dude?
You can't be
Yeah,
a brother.
can't
You
be.
can't be their
Can't
brother.
be. Can't
Yeah,
be.
so yeah, it was
That was
tough.
a surprise
Yeah,
for sure. That was a pivot.
yeah,
Which makes it interesting. You want to read something that keeps you on your toes. You like the
mm,
twists and turns,
yeah,
So that, I mean, it was unexpected, but that's again, that's what makes it good. That's
yeah,
what makes it great.
yeah,
Um, I do want to say something that that came to my mind. That part where I'm trying not to say too much. It's a spoiler, so I'm sorry, guys. But once Keisha comes back and
yeah.
they find out what's going on with Reggie, and there's this scene where he pretty much is like, "I'm using you to get to him," and she just went with it, and I'm like, wow, like she really just took it and said, "You know what? I put myself in this. I'm gonna put my big girl panties on. I'm gonna do whatever it is he needs me to do."
She didn't have a choice because
Well, she was gonna be on
sis,
the street, but
basically, basically. So, I mean, the fact that he had been taking care of her the whole time that she was
yeah,
gone,
mm-hmm,
and the way she was treating him like trash when he was out
yes,
there. So
yes,
he showed her a side of him that she'd never seen.
yep,
That
yep,
he meant business and that he was going to
mm-hmm,
stand on business.
that's right,
So she didn't know what he was capable of at
that's
that
right,
point. So it was
mm-hmm,
like, okay, he's been showing me love and tenderness all this time.
right,
I've met someone different now. I've
mm-hmm,
pushed every button I can
yep,
push, and I pushed the right one this time.
yeah. Oh,
And
she got him. She
he
got it
snapped.
too.
He
He
snapped.
snapped. He snapped. But I loved it though. I loved it because it showed me two different things. Well, first of all, she deserved it. We know that.
Yeah.
She brought that on herself. but it speaks to something that happens in a lot of relationships when you have two people, and you did mention this in the book. I don't remember the pages, but when you have people and their temperaments are kind of like they're very laid back, they're maybe a little quiet, they're non-confrontational, they're very soft, they're very loving, or what have you. A lot of times you don't ever get to see them do that, and so sometimes you take advantage of people like that.
Yes.
Because you're used to them being who they are.
Right.
And it takes moments like that for you to see that they do have another side.
Yeah. Kenny had to show her that he really was a Henderson. Don't get it twisted. Just because I'm quiet don't mean it ain't in me, because all those other Hendersons rowdy,
Right.
So he was like, wait a minute, I could be just as rowdy. Let me show you. So and he did.
He sure did. Yes. If you haven't read it, please do, because he showed her. But I think that speaks to just relationship dynamics in general. You do have those times where you have somebody who they may not be like the rest of their family. They may be the quiet type, soft-spoken type, a little more easygoing, and that's all they know. But you tap dance on that last nerve long enough, and you're gonna get something. You're gonna get something that you never thought was coming.
How they say, you're gonna F around and find out.
You're gonna find out. She found out.
She did. She found out.
She found out. Sometimes that's what it takes, unfortunately. Sometimes that's what it takes.
Look, she had to crawfish after that. She had to step back. She had to calm it all the way down. Okay.
Yes.
That aggressiveness she had was gone.
Ooh. She was humbled.
Yes.
Humbled.
All the way.
Oh my gosh.
But to find out that they were set up, because of that, I think that bonded them more.
It did.
Because it was like, okay, I didn't go out intentionally to do this. Neither one of them.
Right.
I didn't intentionally set out to hurt you. I didn't intentionally think in myself, hey, I'm going to cheat. It wasn't like that in the beginning with how it started. They were set up, and Reggie.
Wow, Reggie, man, Reggie's a character. Ooh, honey, he was one of those people that you just like, will he just die already? Like, will he just go away?
Right.
He was just one of those characters. But I loved it though, because even though it hurt me to know, like, oh man, somebody set them up like that. Like these two people really love each other. They didn't want to do this. They didn't want this. But I think that's the lesson for a lot of us, and not to go too spiritual or anything, but there's this saying that's what the devil tries to do. The devil is trying to tear apart anything that God puts together.
Absolutely.
And so when you're married, you have to be cognizant of the fact that you have a common enemy that's trying to tear you apart.
Yes.
And that's what they faced. And it got ugly.
Be careful of who you allow in your marriage. Who you gotta be careful. You have to.
You gotta stay vigilant. And that's something that they had to learn in a messy way, in a public way. But that's a lesson for all of us. Be careful who you let in your inner circle. Be careful who you talk your business to.
That's right.
You never know what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So
that was Kenny's downfall.
That's what took him down.
Yeah. He was talking to the wrong person. And as quiet as he was, he was talking to the wrong person.
He was doing a lot of talking. But it was just one of those things. And just speaking of Kenny and what brought him down, that's what made me like, I had a heart for him.
Yeah.
Because initially I was like, whatever. But getting into the book and having him speak for himself, it almost felt like you're speaking for a lot of men, the way you wrote this character and the way you, like, he opened his heart and he was so transparent and just going through his pain. And oh my gosh, when he lost his baby, oh my God, that was a heartbreaker, tear jerker.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely,
that was rough, but it was so real, and it was so like I could really relate to it. I've lost 2 children, so I understand what that's like,
Yeah.
but to hear it from the man's point of view, because men are different from us, not to
Yeah.
generalize, but they are different.
Yeah.
They do not process those types of feelings the way that we do. So to see him and hear him, it was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, I get why maybe this person was acting the way that they were. This explains some of this behavior. It's because that's
Yeah.
just how they process things.
Right.
It's so different. So it was
Right.
like, wow, how were you able to get a male's point of view like that? Being a woman and just get into a man's head like that.
I actually enjoy writing men more than women.
Wow.
And growing up, I always had more male friends than
Okay.
female friends. So I guess that's where it comes from. It's
Yeah.
crazy because I felt like I related more to guys than I did
Okay.
to women.
Yeah.
So, most of my closest friends were guys.
Yeah.
And so they would talk about whatever, and I'd be like, "You wrong," or "Oh, I
Yeah.
see where you're going with that." So yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of had the inside track on their
Okay.
thoughts and the way they process things. And then, of
Yeah.
course, I'm married, and my husband is very expressive
Okay.
with me anyway.
Yeah.
He's more expressive in our marriage than I am.
Okay.
So, so I kind of, got the insight on how they kind of
Got
process
you.
things. And my husband was a single father
Okay.
also.
Okay.
So, I kind of, yeah.
Okay, that's good. You had somewhere to pull. You had somewhere to pull
Yeah,
from. So that makes
absolutely.
sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, just to be so spot on like that, where I'm like, wow, I really feel like this is somebody sharing with me. This is how a man is thinking. This is how he's dealing with
Mhm.
his feelings. This is what he needs at this point. Um,
Absolutely.
I think that's important for a lot of women who may not have had the experience of being friends with men,
Right.
maybe didn't grow up with a lot of men, and so, or didn't have an expressive father or
Yeah.
brother. So when you are able to read something like this, it actually helps you as far as, saying, hey, there's a male perspective that I need to consider.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can get self-absorbed and be thinking about you.
Yeah.
And if men don't speak, you don't know. It's like
Right.
you take their actions and that's it. But
Yes.
this was
Yes.
really,
That's how
really,
Kenny
really
was.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He wasn't
this
a
was
talker.
really good. He was
Thank
not a
you.
talker.
Thank
But
you.
man, that's why this was what I called that book that just it stuck
Yeah.
with me. Like, I
Thank
love
you.
all the books,
Yeah.
but this one was one where I was like, I gotta let everybody know about this one. They gotta read this one. I don't care if
Thank
this ain't your
you.
thing. Read this book. You gonna
Yeah.
love this.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you
absolutely,
so much.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So I do want to say, the Henderson family in general, your book series, I never would have imagined you get the 23 books.
Me either.
But at the same time, I'm like, you could definitely keep going. Like,
I am. Look, and I am eventually.
yeah. So good. We can look forward to more books, guys. More
Yeah.
Henderson family.
We're
I'm
in contact.
excited.
Hopefully by February.
Ooh, exciting. Yes.
I'll be on Kenny's daughter, Karima, the baby girl. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that. Yeah.
She's very spiritual, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of her generation of family looks up to her,
Okay.
for
Okay.
direction and for
Yeah.
prayer and counseling and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Of course. So I'm getting ready to dive into her and see what she have to say.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Me
I
too,
cannot
because
wait.
she's already spilling some tea, and I'm like, girl, please keep it to yourself right now. I'm doing something else. Don't tell me nothing. Don't tell me nothing. And then
Okay.
Storm is always yapping, and he's like, I'm gonna
Oh
corrupt
God.
her. So he gonna corrupt her, and I'm like, you shut up.
Storm,
So
Lord.
got me
God.
sounding a whole like a mental case up in here talking to myself.
This is crazy. The Henderson family, I have talked about them like these are people I know. Like, that's how familiar they are.
Oh,
That's just That's a testament to you as a writer when these people become like real people. It's like, what is Storm about to say now? What are you about to do?
It's
like,
so funny. They real to me too because I actually live in a town called Nome. So where they live
I
is where
saw
I
that.
live.
Yeah.
So when I'm driving, I'll be like, look, Storm's house. And my girls will be like, whatever.
Yes. That's what makes it so cool is the fact that you live there and you're writing from the place that you live. That just
I
makes it
live here
even more special.
deep in the sticks and in the country.
Yeah. I feel it because I live off of a dirt road, so I'm in the country too. I'm in
Yeah.
South Carolina, but I'm in the country too.
Yes.
Yeah. That is awesome. That is awesome. You are, like I said, this has been like a dream come true to me. You have no idea. For me to be a fan the way that I am and to be able to talk to you, I'm like, oh, this just made my year. Okay. Can't tell me nothing.
Thank you. That's so sweet. No, I'm not.
Yes.
Look, I'm not that person. I'm very open and accepting of interviews because guess what? Nobody could be asking me for an interview. Then what?
That's true.
So,
That's true.
if
That's
hey,
true.
you want an interview, just ask me.
Yeah.
If my schedule is free,
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah. Or
I
let's
love
find an
that.
open day. Yeah, I'll
I
talk.
love
Problem.
that. I love that. And for everybody who is watching, listen, you think a lot of times you think, oh my gosh, I wonder if this person will talk to me. I am telling you right now, Monica Walters is one of the nicest people that you would ever meet. She was so open and gracious with me. So if that alone should make you go buy those books right now. Amazon, go get it.
Thank you.
You won't regret it. And this is why I wanted to do it, because I want to shine a spotlight on authors, because you pour so much of your time and your energy and your lives into your work. Yeah. And you need to be appreciated for it. It's not easy to do what you do.
It's not easy. We make it look easy, but it's not.
No, it's not easy to do what you do, to dedicate the time that you do. And so, yeah, we want to get as much support for you as possible.
Thank you.
I want everybody excited about these books. Go get it. Of course, I'm plugging my favorite book for In Too Deep, but get all of them. Don't just listen to me. Get all of them.
Yeah, because you got to read 1 through 3 to read 4.
You got to read 1 through 3 to get the 4. Okay. Yeah. So, but I promise you're going to get stuck and you're going to keep going. You're not going to be able to stop, because that's how she writes. You're not going to be able to let them go. So please go get those books. They're everywhere you can buy books. I prefer Amazon, so I'm plugging Amazon. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Monica Walters, and just knock yourself out. Get as many books as you want. Go do it. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I thank you so much for gracing me with your presence and your time. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I hope this isn't the last time, because I do want to talk to you when the new book comes out next year at some point.
Oh, well, girl, just hit me up like you did
sure will. I sure will. Yes. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in and watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And I hope you're excited about Miss Monica Walters, and go buy those books already.
Yes.
Please show your support. Thank you so much, Monica.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful evening, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Monica.